Tremendous here. Got another book review here for you. So this one is called The Maltings. It is by Nathan T. Kaminsky. I think I'm going to nail that one. It was published on December 1st, 2018. It is about 183 pages, and it is currently under the dystopian fiction, conspiracy thrillers, and also under Kindle Store. I believe this is his only book. Nope, I'm a damn liar. He's got 4 total on Amazon, and this is the only one that I've read. He reached out to me on Reddit and asked me to check out his book, and I'm glad he did. I got it with Kindle Unlimited with my subscription. However, for $2.99, you can get your copy of the ebook, no problem. The link is in the description. So this book, basically, you meet this individual whose name I want to say is Mikhail. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Michal. For the rest of this review, I'm just going to call him Michael because I'm 100% ugly American. This is definitely a European author's book, judging just by the terminology and everything like that. So it was all foreign language to me because, like I said, I'm a terrible person. But I did read all of it, and I was able to follow it and everything, which is always good. There was some word errors and stuff like that. Just a solid proofread by the author or a proofreader would have been beneficial to this book, because especially towards the 60-70% mark, you really start seeing errors pretty frequently, and by the time you get to the 80% mark, it's like he was just in a rush to get it done and didn't bother to proofread it, because you get a lot of improper word usage. And it's not the difference between verbiage between American and European. He's using the wrong words a lot, and it was a little frustrating, but not like story killing or anything like that. It was just kind of frustrating. It is a smooth read. It's not like horribly written. It's just, you catch a few things, and I whine about that because that's really what I do. But the story, again, all non-spoilers, so don't worry, but it's about this guy who, honestly, the main character, Michael is what I'm going to call him because I don't really know how to pronounce his name. He's really an awful person. He's meek. He's whiny. He's got no self-worth, got no self-confidence. Just he's kind of a dick to his wife in a passive-aggressive kind of way. The best example I could think to give you is they're at the grocery store checking out, and his wife bought 4 pounds worth of ice cream, like this pint of ice cream that was 4 pounds, and it's just he freaks out. He's like, "Why'd you get that ice cream? Why didn't you get the name brand one or the generic one?" And she's like, "Because we're going to a party and I wanted to bring something nice, so I bought that." He goes, "Yeah, but how much is it?" She's like, "I don't know, but it's not that much of a difference. It doesn't matter." And he's like, he looks at the cash register person. He's like, "Could you tell me how much this is?" and stuff. And the cash register person's like, "You want me to ring it up and then tell you?" Like, I don't understand. "No, I want you to tell me what it's worth, and then I'll tell you whether or not I want you to ring it up." And the cash register person's like, "I can't do that." So he gets out of line, grabs the ice cream, makes a big scene, goes and checks, finds out that it's 4 pounds instead of the generic, which is 2 pounds, and it's 2 for the price of 1, right? So he comes back with the generic ice cream after making an ass out of himself and embarrassing his wife for no reason, to save 2 pounds. And look, we get double the amount of ice cream. And she's upset. He's too stupid to realize that she's upset. He's a piece of garbage. Like, he's a real scumbag. And then in the end, he has to make scone. It's just everything he does is this passive-aggressive, meek, wimpy, pathetic individual. And then to make it worse, he meets another woman. Her name is Kitty Mara, which is weird, but it kind of makes sense towards the end. And, of course, she's beautiful and everything like that, but he's creepy. Like, every time she's around, his stomach gets hurt to the point where he literally vomits. Like, he has to excuse himself the first few times he meets her to vomit. His heart hurts, his mouth gets dry. He's, like, really off, really creepy dude the whole time, and he doesn't have anything about him that's redeeming at all. He's not quirky, he's not endearing, he's awful. And then he sneaks off a lot, and he keeps a lot of secrets about it to his wife, and I'll get into it in the spoilers. I don't like the main character at all. Every time, as you get to know more and more about him, you really want to see bad things happen to him. Like punching this guy in the face, I don't think it would be a felony. It's just he's really a bad person. Everyone else in the book, though, for the most part, is a good person. The author really nails the fact that his wife, the main character's wife, Michael's wife, Damonte, Domante, Damonte is her name. I'm probably butchering that too, but she resents him a lot, but you can see why. Like she's not bitter because she's, an ice queen or anything like that. She's bitter because her husband's a piece of garbage. And the author really nails that too. I really hope that the author wasn't trying to make this guy a good guy or anything like that, because he's not. He's just human trash. But anyway, the book is extremely slow. I was 32% of the way through the book before the first thing that was interesting happened, and it was a B&E. Breaking and entering. That was it. And even that was, just by comparison to the rest of the book that I read, it's just you're living this guy's life. There's nothing interesting. It's very mundane. You don't understand a lot about what's going on. Nothing is described to you. They're in this town called the Maltings, and they live these very vanilla lives, very boring, very safe. Nothing interesting happens. He's an HR rep at some, insert corporation name here. It has no bearing on the story. It's boring. It's a slog. You're reading about this guy's life and how he's miserable and he doesn't know why. He doesn't have any answers to anything. He doesn't have any hobbies. He doesn't really do anything. A lot of time is spent in his yard and in the back of his house, just laying down, looking up. It's just, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that if that's how you want to live your life, but it's not story worthy. At about 50% in, he meets an individual, and I wish it had been about this guy. I wish this guy, Saqib, I think, Saqib. Again, if I'm murdering it, I'm murdering it. I'm a terrible person. That's been established. He meets this individual, and he's the life of the book. But yeah, it's just he's a supporting character. It's just he's got personality. He's got charisma. He's a slimy car dealer type of guy. Don't get me wrong, but it's just. He's got a heart. He's got endearing, qualities to him that make him interesting. And he's a supporting character that is just, he's not in the book enough. In the end, when everything is said and done, it's just, you don't care. The payoff is kind of ridiculous. The conspiracy that you figure out is kind of garbage. You're not really able to figure it out or even get a hint towards it. It feels cheap. It feels ham-fisted, and there's a lot of holes. There's a lot of questions. It's just ridiculous. I didn't enjoy this book. I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. The characters were rough. The story was boring. I mean, it's short. That's a good thing. But, even there, you could even kind of tell towards the end, the author, it just seemed like he lost interest in writing the book. There was a lot of errors, a lot of carelessness. It was frustrating. There was no love in this story, in my opinion, or at least I didn't feel it. So in the end, I got to give this book 2 out of 5. I just didn't like it. I don't hate it. I didn't hate it. I hate the main character, but I don't hate the story. It's just, it wasn't good. I didn't enjoy it, and I wouldn't read it again. That being said, there is a link in the description below, so you can check it out yourself. It's a short read. It's not expensive. You can get it with Kindle Unlimited or on ebook for less than $3. I mean, check it out. Tell me what you think. Come back, throw a comment in the comment section. No, man, this is great. Or, nope, you're right. I fell asleep 3 times. Two people I know are in comas. Or somewhere in the middle. Tell me I'm crazy. Tell me I'm right. Tell me something. It'll be fun. But, yeah. 2 stars out of 5, and I just got to stick with that because I didn't enjoy it overall. And I'll get into it a lot more in the spoilers. So that's going to do it for the non-spoiler section. I'm going to play a little ad. I'm going to go ahead and do a little spoiler, and then we'll jump right into the spoilers. So buckle up. Everybody knows as a self-published author, it's hard to find a solid group where you can get the answers to all your questions. That's when I found Self-Published Book Groups. It's a Facebook group, and the link is in the description. Totally worth it. Check it out, especially if you're a self-published author. Spoilers coming up, so if you're still here when the music stops, it's on you. All right, you're still here, so let's get to it. So, again, spoilers. This should actually go pretty quick because there's just not a lot to spoil. Not a lot happens. The story starts off and you meet this guy, Michael, whatever. He's the main character. And like I said, he's a passive aggressive jerk to his wife. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to swear. He's like I said, the ice cream story. He's whenever she asks him a question, he kind of fires like, so how was work today? Same as it always is. Okay, did something happen? Was it good? Was it bad? Do you want to talk about it? What's the point in reliving it? Dope to do. He's a plebe. He's a scumbag. He's just this meek, wimpy, low self-esteem, low confidence, low impact human being that he's a blip. He wouldn't even show up on radar. I don't like him. And there's nothing that happens throughout the entire story that makes you like this guy because you can't. He's just a scumbag. The ice cream story is just the first thing, and then his wife was like, let's get ready for this party, and stuff. I don't want to bring the cheap ice cream though because she wants to make an impression on her friends. She's going to go see her friends. She's going to hang out with them. She doesn't want to bring the Walmart special ice cream. She wanted to bring the name brand, and he wouldn't let her do that. So she's like, I'll make scones, and she's like, sure, make scones, and there's like 100 scones when he gets there because everybody did that, and then. She's mad at him and stuff. So he's at this party. He goes to this party with her and he meets the main character, Saqib or whatever. And this guy's he's a dick. He's a sleazy dick. He really is. But he's got personality. He's got charisma. He's got that you don't want him around, but when he is around, you're like, all right, he's all right. He's rough. He's ragged, but like I said, he's the sleazy car dealer salesman guy, but he's got all the personality. So while they're at this party, he meets this guy and he's talking to him for a little while. And then this woman shows up. Like, she was walking around. She's new to the area. All the other women come over and start talking to her, and they invite her into this party. And this guy, the main character, literally freezes up like a high school freshman, like the first time he's ever seen a girl. He sees her, and she's a pretty girl. And he freezes up, his mouth gets dry, it's way over the top, his stomach clenches, he feels nauseous, he has to go throw up. I'm not making that up, he literally goes and throws up because he's just so overcome by this girl that he saw. It's pathetic. It wasn't like this, oh my gosh, it's a romance, it's lovely, oh, swoon. This is pathetic, this is a joke. If you're the kind of girl that wants to make a man sick when he sees you, get a therapist. I don't know what to tell you because that's dark. But it was just, and it happened every time he sees her. His stomach would tighten up, his heart would feel icy, his throat would go dry, his head would like shrivel up and get all tense, and he would get a headache because he was just so overcome by this girl. And it's enough. Grow up. What's wrong with you? Like a 12-year-old with his first erection. It was unbelievable. So anyway, he sees this girl. He's all overcome, and he can't even think straight because he's a moron. And the Saqib guy is like, "Listen, your neighbor. I want to go and I used to date her, and she's been gone." And he's like, "Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I can take her to her house." So he gets there, and they break into her house and find out that she's just gone. Like, all of her stuff is still there, but she's just gone, and they think that's weird. So that's it for a while, for a long while. The Saqib and the heartthrob female start dating because they're both new to town and stuff like that. And of course, Michael or Mikhail or whatever his name is super jealous about it, but he doesn't do anything about it. He doesn't go for anything like that because he's a coward. He never makes his feelings known. He's married, but he's basically cheating on his wife. He sneaks away to be with her. He doesn't tell his wife where he's going. He tries to hide it because they're his friends. It's his investigation. It's his secret world, and she'll just be mean to him about it. He's an awful person. This is the kind of guy that your parents were warn you about, ladies. Just straight up, this guy is awful. He never commits adultery with Kitty Ma or anything like that. That never happens. But at one point, at the very end, they actually confess each other's love to each other. But again, it's so tacked on and ham-fisted, it's almost like getting slapped in the face. So anyway, they start investigating this girl's missings thing, and there's an estate in the town that they go and check out, and they find a backpack with a whole bunch of different foreign currency in it. That's a big deal because oil is super rare. Like gas is all gone. It's like 60 pounds a gallon or something like that. Stupid expensive to drive anywhere unless the plot needs it, in which case then dude just jumps in the car and drives them wherever they're going to go. So it is available. Uh, just stuff like that. Alcohol products and stuff like that are basically, they don't exist. There's no such thing as cigarettes. They don't even know about the internet. It's weird. It's very weird, but you aren't given enough clues or information to put any of it together. It's just kind of like, okay, that's weird. It's 2000, it's late 2010s, but why don't they know about any of this stuff? But you're never, it's never mentioned. It's never brought up. No one's ever told about that yet. The guy works in an HR firm. They call each other all the time. There's no cell phones or anything. They all use landlines. It's very weird. But again, there's nothing to really put that together. There's no, you know, light bulb moment or even a hint. You just know something weird's going on, but the whole thing is so boring and slow, you just think that the author kind of forgot to mention that stuff. So anyway, they go to this estate, they find all that currency, and that's unheard of because flying and uh, 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 trains and stuff like that are super rare. Buses are pretty much non-existent anymore, except for in super rare cases, that they've heard about them or whatever. But why they would have heard about them on this area, in this area, I don't know. But they can take the train over to a beach somewhere and walk around on the sand. But everybody just kind of hangs out there. It's weird. It's very weird. It's vanilla. Anyway, they start really kind of like going, how did the people at the estate, how could they afford to go all these places and have all this, have all this foreign currency when to fly is unheard of? It's impossible. To fly somewhere would be £1 billion. It would be unheard of. Nobody could do that. A billionaire couldn't afford to fly. And then they're walking around outside a day later and they see a plane way up in the air, which is not only sloppy when you figure out what's going on, when the book finally tells you what's going on, but it's all, there's so many plot holes and disappointments and what the f that you just want it to kind of be over. So long story short, Saqib ends up going missing. He ends up getting relocated by his job last minute to the main city. They go to this city for some reason. They go to the city to find him because he's been gone. After he moved away, he was supposed to come back, or every weekend, and they were going to go cycling and stuff like that. But no, that doesn't happen. So they go and check it out. Kitty Mara's a little upset because they were kind of dating, and they go to try to find this guy, and of course they can't. He was moved to London, which is ridiculous because nobody goes to London because gas is super expensive now. So they go back to town, and they're like, something's going on, and long story short, all of a sudden he's being relocated and they're going to get all this extra money and everything's going to be good. And he panics and he runs away. Like the movers show up a few days later and all their stuff is packed up and he panics because he's like, nope, something bad's going to happen to us like it did to Saqib and our neighbor and the estate people and yada, yada, yada. So he runs away and he finds Kitty Mara and they go and they hide out in the woods somewhere. And again, this is another plot hole because it's flippin' ridiculous, but I'll get there. So they end up freaking out, panicking. They're like, I don't know what's going on, but whoever got Saqib is going to come after me. And Kitty Mara's like, yeah, I agree with you, guy that has no leadership skills whatsoever. And then they confess their love for each other, but they don't do anything because he's married. And they end up walking into a town. Like they walk for a while, and then they walk into this other town, and they discover the internet, they discover mobile phones, they discover, all that stuff. And it turns out that their livestock, they were brought up in this town of Maltings, their whole lives, by the way. So this dude's into his 40s, possibly his 50s, I'm not really sure. But his whole life, he's there, and he's livestock. Basically, the overpopulation of the world has made this company called The Orchard farm humans. It's Soylent Green. They raise humans on this in the Maltings, and when they decide to take them out, they disappear them from the town, carve them up and sell them to high-end customers all over the world. And this isn't a secret. This isn't something that people don't know about. They literally advertise about it on the internet on their website. That's how the main character and Kitty figure it out. And that's why the people were missing, because when the company decides, they harvest a person or two, cut them up, and put them out for food. So the reasoning for it, the explanation on why they're carving up humanity for steaks is because we're very close to the same nutritional content as beef, and there's an overpopulation of humans, yet they're raising humans from children in these towns. So it doesn't make any sense. If you're literally going to have a city and 5 or 6 towns all wrapped up together in this one little area that's governed by this factory, number one, why? Why humans? Number two, why not use all that land for farming and livestock and stuff? You just, wow. Not only that, but it doesn't make you think that humanity has any problem with the fact that we've resorted to cannibalism. Like, there's no issue on it, nothing at all. It's just kind of like, yeah, that's just it. So these two people with no skills, no social ability, no idea how the real world works, are now walking around with no money, nowhere to go, no friends, no family, no idea, and they realize that they're livestock. And what? That's how the book ends. They discover that they're livestock. They're out of the factory now, and that's it. There are so many holes in this. It makes me sick. Like, number one, if you have a factory where you're basically raising people as livestock, why wouldn't you have tracking chips in them? This is 2019. Dogs have microchips in them. So why wouldn't they have microchipped these friggin' people and been able to find them immediately on their land, on the land used for this? It's just, they were able to find, at one point, the main character and Kitty jump over a fence, and they're found immediately, and they're arrested and brought back into the Maltings. But they decide to go through an estate. They basically jump over a different fence, and the company has no idea. No idea. Couldn't find them, couldn't stop them whatsoever. The rest of the world is fine with the fact that people are eating people. They don't, there's no issue about it. There's no protest. There's nobody breaking in. Nobody saying, hey, you're cattle, get out of here. Nothing like that. No human rights violation, people at all. Nothing. The whole world's cool. New York gets Abu Dhabi, London, everybody. The book mentions those cities. Yeah. They import, human flesh all the time, and it's delicious. Just come on. If the book was more interesting, or if, a revolutionary group were to come in and try to pull them out of there and have to convince them that they're like, I mean, this book could have been good in a zillion different ways, and it chose not to do any of those ways. It's very slow. It's very boring. And towards the last 80%, like the last 20% of the book, it just feels ham-fisted. It feels like the author just wanted to be done with it. I was really disappointed by the book. I really didn't like it. And I have to stick with my 2 out of 5 stars because it just wasn't good. It wasn't entertaining. It wasn't fun. And I cannot emphasize just how little I like the main character. He's so aggravating. Like, everything that he does, especially around Kitty is cringeworthy. Like, the most socially awkward high school freshman on the planet. And this guy's supposed to be a 40-year-old guy who's been married for 10 years and has no idea what he's doing. It's aggravating to the point where it's insulting. It's really insulting. I think if Saqib had been the main character, it would have been a lot better of a book, just because at least that guy had a personality. Yes, he was an arrogant asshole. No argument about that whatsoever. But man, at least he had personality. At least he was interesting. He was the only part of this book that's interesting, and he became cold cuts before the end of the book. Just 2 out of 5 stars, and by all means, get the book. I'm not trying to discourage you from getting it. The link is in the description. Free with Kindle Unlimited, $2.99 ebook, and read it. It's a quick read. It's under 200 pages. And come back and tell me I'm crazy. Come back and tell me that you agree with me. Come back and let's have a conversation. I would love nothing more. That's going to do it for this review, though. As always, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, or or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you as quick as I can. And as always, thanks.